Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Nadia with another video today. This video, guys, is going to be a little bit different. I'm doing a really crazy story time, something that I never thought I would experience. By the title of this video, you probably didn't think that the story is clickbait. It's definitely not clickbait. This really happened to me, and I will always cherish this memory because it definitely shaped who I am today. Before I start this video, I just wanted to put something out there that if you are struggling with any mental illness, whether it's depression or anxiety or OCD or anything, and you feel helpless and you feel like you can't survive, please call 911. Please check yourself into a mental health facility because your life matters. There are resources for you to take care of yourself. No reason why people can't help you with whatever you're struggling with. So please, if you are suffering from something and you feel like your life is at risk, please call 911. Now that we got the serious stuff out of the way, let's get into the story. So, growing up, I've been struggling with depression on and off, and I'm not ashamed of that. I'm not scared to put that out there. It's a fact, and I'm sure a lot of people deal with depression or deal with a lot of issues that they're just not comfortable talking about. But I realized that what makes me is all of the things that I've dealt with in my life, and I want to talk about it. I care more about helping people go through something than makeup and beauty videos, and this is just something I've always wanted to talk about. But this story is actually really hilarious now that I think about it. I can't believe this happened to me. But anyways, I'm getting off tangent here, but basically, there was a time in my life where I was suffering with severe depression. I'm like getting anxious talking about this, but there was a time in my life where I was going through depression and anxiety, and it was just really bad. I had to leave school. Very bad. This was a time, very, very low point in my life. Oh, I can't talk about this. This is supposed to be a funny story, but I'm getting all flustered talking about it. This is not good. This was when I was about 19 years old, 18 or 19 years old, and something happened. I don't want to get into the details of what, but something happened with my friends that led me to have an anxiety attack. And I was actually at home, and my parents were also at home, and me, being the stupid girl that I am, was at that point in my life where I would do anything for attention. I just wanted love, and I just wanted attention, and that might sound like weird now, and this might sound like, oh, you just wanted attention, that doesn't mean you're depressed. But no, when someone is going through depression, or when someone has no confidence, they just want to know that someone cares about them, that someone loves them. So, and at that point in my life, I had no self-confidence, I had no self-esteem. I just wanted love. I just wanted love and attention. I was not secure in myself. So when I say I wanted attention, I really mean I wanted attention. Tonight, something happened. I was having an anxiety attack, and me wanting attention, I grabbed a bottle of Motrin pills, and I told my parents I'm going to swallow all these pills and kill myself. And I come from a brown household. My mom freaks the hell out if I even talk about, suicide or anything about hurting myself, because I am an only child. I am my mom's diamond. So my mom freaked out, my dad freaked out. They thought I already took the pills. My dad called 911. He told the cops that I swallowed a bunch of pills. Mind you, I did not. I did not swallow any pills. I didn't even say I did. I said I was going to. But my parents were not having it. They were like, nope. Going to the hospital, you're getting your stomach pumped. And I was shook because the ambulance actually came to our house, and I actually had to go to the hospital. During this time, I was crying, having a full-blown anxiety attack. Like, I couldn't form words, I couldn't form thoughts or sentences. So I just went. Like, I just wanted to go to the hospital. I just didn't want to be home. I'm not sure if you guys know this. Whoever has been through this will know this. But whenever you claim to be suicidal, you try to kill yourself, or even if you don't try to kill yourself, but your family thinks you try to kill yourself, you are put on a 72-hour mandatory psychiatric hold at a psychiatric hospital. And yeah, basically I was committed into the mental hospital for 3 days. But this was not just any mental hospital. This was the hospital that criminals go to. Apparently, the actual psychiatric ward I went to was too overbooked, and they couldn't fit me. This was a Friday night, and apparently they don't bring new people in on weekends, only on Mondays. So there was no room for me at the actual nice hospital, because the hospital that I went to after the 3 days was nice and it was therapeutic and it was like a spa, and I actually felt better. But the 3 days that I was put, basically it felt like jail, to be honest, because they treat you like criminals, and it was just a scary. It was interesting. So yes, I was brought in the ambulance. I was riding the ambulance at 2 a.m. with my mom and my dad. The ambulance guy, technician, whatever, he was taking my blood pressure. He asked if I was suicidal. I said no. I went to the hospital, and again, like I mentioned before, this was not the normal hospital that normal people go to. I don't want to say the name of the hospital because I'll give my location away, but this wasn't a normal hospital. You get arrested and like the police officer thinks you need professional help from a doctor, that's where they bring you. And that's where I was brought. Basically, like, I was in my pajamas and a big t-shirt, and I was sitting at this place for like a good 4 hours. They took my blood, I had to get my pee, they did a bunch of tests on me. But I was sitting here for a good 4 hours with like some scary people like near me. This guy that claimed that he killed his wife and that he was waiting to be diagnosed by a psychiatrist. And again, I'm not trying to make fun of anyone. I know that people go through issues. I know that people have problems. No one to judge. I commend people that seek help when they know they're going through some issues. This was just an interesting experience for me, and I wanted to share with you guys. I'm not at all making fun of people with these issues. I have issues. I have major issues. I had really bad issues. I just remember sitting there and feeling so alone because I had to say bye to my parents. I couldn't even see my parents. They wouldn't let me touch my parents. They were treating me like a full criminal. And I was like, what did I even do to that I'm like at this place? They're mean to you, like the receptionists are mean to you, the nurses, whatever, that are like taking your blood are mean to you. I was just there because I freaking had a bottle of Motrin pills and was telling my parents I wanted to die. Interesting, there were a lot of people that were there were arrested for abusing their family members. There was a couple of men there that were in handcuffs and were very bloody, and I was just sitting there. I was 18 years old, terrified, still crying. And there's this one girl. She had some problems. I'm not sure what she had. I think she was schizophrenic or just severe bipolar disorder. I'm not sure. But for some reason, she was really attached to me. I think it's because we were both like Arabic. She was Muslim and I was Muslim. I had my necklace on that said my name in Arabic, and I guess she saw that and she kind of came up to me and was like, oh, I'm Arabic too. And she was nice at first, but something was just so off with her. And then out of nowhere, she just started freaking out, banging her head against the wall, crying, yelling, throwing stuff at the receptionist, and they had to kind of sedate her and handcuff her to the bed. I was terrified, mostly because I was just sitting next to her talking to this girl. Long story short, she ended up going somewhere behind the medical doors. They did something to her. They probably sedated her, made her have her medicine. I'm not sure, but she came back a completely different person, and she started talking to me again. And now I was like terrified because I knew I probably shouldn't associate with her. I don't know. I'm just a very nice person. I don't like to judge people. I'm not gonna not talk to you because you're going through something. So I still ended up sitting there talking to her. There's a line between being too nice and being an idiot. I just am an idiot a lot of the time. And out of nowhere, she asked if she could smell my hair. And I was like, I don't think that's a good idea. Like, I don't think you should smell my hair. And then she just grabbed my hair and started sniffing it. So I was like, okay. I was just trying to stay calm and just, kind of sit there. And then eventually we got assigned rooms, and we have roommates in those rooms. And of course, Guess who ended up being my roommate? For the purpose of this video, I'm gonna call her Beverly. Let's just call her Beverly. That's not her real name. I don't even remember her real name, to be honest. So Beverly ended up being my roommate, and let me tell you, it was interesting. Whew. Okay, so we went into the room and I was still really depressed, still crying every 10 minutes, missing my mom and missing my dad. The bed was rock hard and we didn't get any blankets. It was actually disgusting, but I would rather... At that point, I was just so tired and drained. It was probably like 5 a.m. and I just wanted to go to sleep. I ended up falling asleep on that rock hard bed in that ugly room with the spiders. I woke up maybe like an hour later. Also, I don't have any inkling of what time it is because I didn't have a phone, I didn't have a watch, I didn't have anything. They didn't even give me food until like 10 a.m. I was there from, I'm thinking, like 1 or 2 a.m. Fell asleep after crying myself to sleep. And then I woke up with this girl right next to me spooning me. She literally had her leg over me and she was spooning me. I freaked out. I was like, oh my god, get off me, what are you doing? I almost like had a full-on panic attack again. I'm an idiot though. I didn't call any guards over because I didn't want her to be more angry at me because she already was offended that I didn't want to cuddle with her. So she was mad at me. She was like, why don't you want to sleep with me? She was very mad. She was like, why don't you want to sleep with me? I can cuddle. We'll be together. It won't be so lonely. And I was like, no, please just leave me alone. Just let me sleep here alone. And so I guess she got mad and she walked out. And I was really, really terrified. And then I went to the bathroom and I came back and she was asleep again. So I was like, okay, I guess she went to sleep in her own bed. So I'm going to go back to sleep in my bed. I go back to sleep, but I can't really go back to sleep because I'm terrified that she's going to jump in my bed and, I don't know, do something to me. I end up going back to my bed, and indeed, she comes back and starts rubbing my back and asks if I like girls. I was laying down on my side trying to sleep, and I just feel her hands going back and forth and her whisper, do you like girls? I was shook. I was like, is this really happening? Is this real life right now? Like, I really could not believe that this was happening to me. I pretended like I didn't hear her. So I got up and I left, and I ended up sleeping in the waiting room the whole day. And the guards didn't ask me anything. Honestly, if I told them anything, they would not care. They would not do anything about it. It's the next morning. It's about like 10, 11 a.m. I know this because they start serving breakfast at 10 a.m. Breakfast sucked. It was like a bowl of, it was like those plastic cereal boxes with milk. I ate it because I was starving. Time went by so slow. Mind you, I had to be there for 3 days. 3 freaking days of craziness and nothingness at the same time. I had no phone, nothing. There was like a TV in the waiting room that I watched and I killed my time. And the other half of the time I cried myself to sleep, to be honest. So it's the next day and I'm sitting in the waiting room and there's a couple of other new people that were brought in. They're in handcuffs, you know, same old thing. Sitting in the waiting room and out of nowhere she comes and sits next to me again, out of nowhere, because at this point she kind of disappeared. I didn't see her for a while because the doctors took her to their office. I wasn't sure why. So she sits down next to me and I'm trying to remain as calm as possible, but then she starts holding my hand, or at least trying to hold my hand. It becomes really uncomfortable and I have to get up and go to my room. That was a bad idea because she ended up following me to our room because she's my roommate, and I just sat on my bed and she sat on my bed next to me and she was just asking me why I don't like her, why I don't want to hold her hand or sleep with her. And I tried nicely telling her I'm not into girls and I also have a boyfriend, which wasn't true. I didn't have a boyfriend, but I just really didn't know what to say at that point. I just didn't want to offend her and make her mad, and I didn't want to cause like an anxiety attack for her, or I didn't want to cause an episode. So just trying to be as nice as possible. I told her that she looked like she understood. Went to the waiting room and started watching TV. And I was still tired at this point. It was like probably still morning time. And I went back to sleep. Just, you know, in bed trying to go to sleep. And of course, maybe like an hour later I wake up and she's next to me again. She's cuddling me harder, and I feel like, you know, it feels really uncomfortable because the way that she was like holding me was very hard, like I almost couldn't breathe. And at this point I freaked out. I ran out and I told the guard. She keeps grabbing me in my sleep and it makes me uncomfortable. And at first the guard didn't really care, or the guard thought I was lying. I saw my doctor and I was telling him all my issues, and I think he knew the kind of person I was and that I probably like shouldn't be there. I didn't kill someone, I didn't, you know, do any crime. Eventually he requested that I get a different roommate, which of course only made her more mad. But I ended up just sitting in the waiting room for the last day. I just stayed in the waiting room. I slept in the waiting room. I did not go back to my room because I was just terrified. I ended up just surviving there for 72 hours. And then after the 72 hours were up, they put me on the, what is it called? The bed where you put sick people and you take them somewhere. I'm in a brain fry right now. But they put me on that. They put me in the ambulance and they took me to the real hospital where I ended up staying for 3 more days on another 72-hour hold. But this time it was nice, and I met people that were just like me, who were going through the same issues that I were going through. You know, it's beautiful, it was comfortable, the beds were clean, the food was good, and there were like yoga classes and therapy sessions that were actually beneficial to me. And more importantly, I actually met people that I related to. I don't want to scare you guys with this experience, because if you ever are going through something, feel free to come at yourself. Do, because it actually does help. Of course, this would happen to me where I'm committed to a psychiatric ward for criminals and I had to go through that. It was an interesting experience, something that I'll always laugh about and something that I'll tell my kids about. I'll always remember Beverly. It honestly did traumatize me. When I talk about it, I sound like I'm not that bothered by it, but I remember being traumatized as it was happening. I'm really surprised that I survived those 3 days. I honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know how I did. And again, I'm all for gay rights. I'm not a homophobe. I'm all for gay rights, but just the way that she was going about it, just constantly pressuring me, and it wasn't even being flirty, it was being creepy. The way that she was coming on to me and touching me, it was just creepy. If a guy was doing it, I would still be I'd be even more freaked out, to be honest, if it was a guy. I was not freaked out or traumatized because it was a girl. I'm all for gay rights. You do you, boo boo. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna make more videos about mental health journey, I guess. I wanted to start this new Mental Health Monday. I make a video and I post it every Monday and I talk about a different issue that I've been through or someone else has been through, and I want to start talking about that because I just feel like it's a very important topic, and not a lot of people will admit that they were admitted into a psychiatric hospital. For a long time I was ashamed too, because just the stigma behind it, but as of today, I'm proud of myself, I'm proud of what I've been through, and I have no shame of saying that I was admitted to a psychiatric hospital, not once, but twice. But that's a story for a different day that I will definitely be talking about. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, do what you gotta do. Want to hit the bell for post notifications so you get notified for whenever I post. This was definitely like a different video. I don't know how this video turned out. I get really anxious when I talk about events in my life that kind of made an impact in my life. So it's kind of hard for me to get sentences out, but hopefully I did okay. If you're going through something, call a friend, call 911, breathe, just be thankful, pray if you're religious. Just always remember that life does go on, there is light, and you'll be alright, I promise. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video.